Hey everyone, what's going on? Back with a new video. It's been a while since I've uploaded. I have a lot to talk about and I can't wait to get into this. First, today we are going to be discussing Stephen King's new book I just finished reading. It was a great one and a much anticipated read by me. It is his new novel called Fairy Tale, and it's like actually a very thick book, about 600 pages, and I actually enjoyed reading this. Again, big Stephen King fan, my favorite author, and just reading a lot of his new stuff. It's really interesting to see how he changes throughout the years. Obviously, he's not getting any younger, but still he is the mastermind of horror. But this has a little horror, but mostly, obviously, like the title is, it's a fairy tale kind of, so like a little bit of fantasy. It's definitely a different twist to what normally Stephen King writes, but I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to talk about it. Also, after we talk about this, I have a big update about my book. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. So Fairy Tale follows this young teenager named Charlie Reed. He's like a normal high school student, plays lots of sports, gets good grades. So this story revolves around him. Charlie starts doing these odd jobs for this man he meets named Adrian Bowditch. Again, I'm not going to give away any spoilers to my channel, but again, this is a very big twist and a different change of what he's writing. Now, the man that Charlie was working for named Mr. Bowditch, he's not an ordinary guy. So what really goes on and happens into it is Charlie goes into the shed that Mr. Bowditch owns, and this is where it leads him into a fairy tale world. In this novel, Stephen King really tries to grab the reader and tries to relate to them in a lot of different ways. Stephen King actually references a lot of different fairy tale types of this, whether it's creatures or stories we've heard, growing up when we were younger. So that was really interesting that Stephen King added this to the story. The journey that Charlie sets off on, he brings Radar, because obviously it's a man's best friend. You always want to have a dog with you. So I really like that Stephen King added, the dog, as his companion with this journey. Charlie meets a lot of interesting characters when he goes into this world, and I don't want to say the world because, again, it is really interesting. When this all ties together in the end, we really find that Charlie becomes stronger as a person, and Charlie not only becomes a stronger person, becomes a lot smarter as well along the journey, learning from his mistakes and actually learning new things as he goes on. Again, this isn't an ordinary world he is living in now. He jumps into this fairy tale world, and he is finding different types of fantastical beasts and creatures, all the different types of fantastic, fantasy creatures and all that you would find in a fantasy novel. So Stephen King, very interesting read. I really enjoyed it. I give Fairy Tale 4 stars. I would have given it 5 stars, but there's a part at the end, not the very end, but when it's starting to get to obviously the conclusion, it doesn't die down. But again, Stephen King is known to have, some slow endings to some of his books. The majority of his books have great endings, but this ending was great, but I wanted to have a little more, pizzazz with the ending. But overall, this book was a great read. Again, I love reading Stephen King. I'm so glad he came out with this, and God knows he's working on his next novel right now as you're watching this video. So any of you Stephen King fans, please comment below what your favorite Stephen King books are, any kind of Stephen King, topics. I love talking to different types of people, readers, followers on my Instagram, and the overall realm that he has created, in his world and his books. He tells great stories, and the connections he brings with his stories are amazing as well. So if you know what I'm talking about and you're a big Stephen King fan, I highly recommend, if you have not read Fairy Tale, please check it out. Like I mentioned, it is different than what his normal horror novels are. So there's still the horror aspect in this book, but again, it is more on the fantasy side as well. It's definitely a great read. Please go check it out. So now that we're done talking about Stephen King's Fairy Tale, let me give you an update about my book. My book is published. My ebook is on Amazon right now, and again, I will leave the link in the description below, so please go check that out. I didn't give any spoilers until the cover came out, but my novel is called My Next Door Obsession. And I'm very excited because I've had, a few good friends of mine already buy the ebook, and I can't thank them enough for purchasing my ebook. They're showing great amount of support. You know who you are if you're watching this, so thank you very much. My paperback is not up yet. It is coming soon, so please be on the lookout for that. Again, follow me on Instagram if you have not. Again, I will leave my link in the description below, so you know when I'm going to have my paperback up on Amazon with my ebook as well. Very excited. This is an amazing accomplishment. I'm very blessed to have a lot of my friends, supporters on Instagram, my family members, everyone coming together to help me create and write this novel. I had such a blast writing it. It's a journey, I will admit that. So for you new readers, or your aspiring authors, again, you have the determination and the power within you. You just have to believe in yourself. And again, the support I've had this whole journey has been amazing. So for those who haven't checked it out, please, again, I'll leave the links in below, my Instagram and all that. So check my book out. And if you have read it, please don't forget to leave a review. It's gonna be really helpful to me that I get my reviews going. And once I start getting reviews after reviews, then more people hopefully will find my book out there and will want to purchase it. All the thanks will be going to you, my subscribers, my supporters, my friends on Instagram, my Bookstagram friends. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will see in my reels and in my bio link, there is a link to my book on Amazon. So check out the link and I'll lead you right to the Amazon page where my book is sold. And thank you again for everyone who has done this. I can't thank you enough. And like I always say, please read your book cover to cover. We'll see y'all later.